Hello guys, this is Don's Movies, and today I got another World of Warcraft lore video. Today I will be talking about Rune Magic, how it works, how it was created, and all of the information around that. Now this is a really big and a complex chunk of lore with many speculations around it, so I will try to sum it up and just simplify it for you guys, so that by the end of the video you will know what is going on, which is pretty much the entire point of these lore lessons. I want to get as much information in the least amount of time, so without further ado, let's begin. Now, Rune Magic is one of the most ancient forms of magic that was first started by the Titans. So to understand how it works, you need to know what the ley lines are. That is a really big part of it. Now, it is a bit of a complex matter, but just imagine it is the arteries or the veins of the entire world of Azeroth, like the blood vessels. And they also do exist on Draenor, there is definitely proof of it, but I will be focusing just on Azeroth now. The ley lines span all across Azeroth, but all of them lead to Karazhan, which was a big source of power for Medivh. Now, there are many different lines, some of them are more obvious than the others, and thus certain people seek out these sources of power, and it is said that Night Elves, for example, use them to power up the Moonwells, and also the mages use them in order to get the energy to create the portals and do all sorts of magic. While Dalaran is also said to be dependent on it, and it is powered by the ley lines. Now, there are certain zones on the world of Azeroth where the ley lines are quite thick and influential, so I will cover some of them but not all of them. For example, one is Moonglade, where you can find a ley line pattern of restoration, and thus creating a rune pattern from that ley line increases healing and resistance to poison and disease. Now, another few ley lines are in Stone Town Mountains, and a notable one is the Great Maze, which has the pattern of the stone, increasing the resilience of the caster that creates the rune pattern. Now, in the Eastern Kingdoms, there's quite a few. Notable one, not really an important one, but an interesting one, is near Stormwind, like the mountains around Stormwind, which has the pattern of the wind, which allows the casters to predict the weather one day in advance, and it has all these like big storms, thus the city got the name Stormwind, because of the winds. Now, there's also a few ley lines near the Elven Kingdoms, which allows them to create the portals, the bloodstones, and just get all the sources of magic from. Now, of course, as I said, there's many of these ley lines all across Kalimdor, the Eastern Kingdom, Northrend. I'm also guessing in Pandaria now, it's not really certain. But these are just some of the examples, and as I said, they all lead to Karazhan, Medivh's tower, so that is a big source for him. Now, you're probably wondering, like, this video is on Rune Magic, what do these runes have to do with these magic lines? Which I guess is a legit question, but essentially what a Rune Master does is he creates rune patterns based on the ley line patterns, and he has studied it and he can use it to empower himself, creatures, weapons, which I will address in a bit more detail. Now, being a Rune Master is by many considered quite primal, and it's quite an ancient thing to do, but in reality it is actually quite complex, and probably more complex than some of the things the mages do, and only a few people can actually like fully do it. Of course, like, anyone can try to do it, like in the real world anyone can draw like a stickman or draw anything, but it takes a long time to actually master to do something significant, which is the same case with the runes. It takes a lot of like mastering and studying in order to make like really powerful runes and do something with it. Now, the dwarves ages ago were one of the first ones to be taught how to do it, but they forgot it until they were retaught recently by the Tauren when they met on Kalimdor. And the Tauren have also been practicing it forever. It has been their tradition for a long time, even though they forgot it and it was reintroduced recently for them as well. Now, this does bring up a bit of a question for the Tauren, like, why do these Tauren practice these magics, which are quite related to the arcane, yet they don't want to be mages, they don't want to practice the things the humans or the blood elves do or anything like that, and the main reason for that is just because they frown upon those magics. Yet Rune Magic is a bit of a different thing, and it has been in their tradition since pretty much the beginning, much like Druidism, even though they only recently introduced it as well. So, just not to ramble too much on this, I'll just tell you how it works. So pretty much you have the rune pattern, which is based on a ley line pattern that is all across the world, so it has to be drawn out, and as I said, it takes a master to do something powerful with it, and it is created by an inscriber, and then it has to be empowered with a magic spell, which also takes a master to do, and that person is called a Rune Caster. So we have an inscriber and a Rune Caster, which one person can be both. What he pretty much does is he fills that drawing with arcane power, and in a way just cast a spell on the rune, making it enchanted, and it has all these magical properties right now. Now once that is done, the creature or the weapon is stronger depending on the strength of the rune, and many things can be done with it. Of course, the runes can be permanent and temporary, and the permanent ones are pretty much impossible to get rid of. It takes like a huge amount of power to get rid of them, while temporary ones only last for a certain amount of time, and they can even be dispelled by other spells. Now the runes come in many forms, as in permanent tattoos that even some of the orcs have, or all sorts of magicians, they have like these magic tattoos on their body. Or they can also be these temporary runes that can be placed on the willing living beings, which I'm gonna explain in a bit. And they can also work as enchantments, so all those weird glowing letters you see on weapons are runes in a way. Now don't get it mixed up with enchanters, because what the Rune Caster does is pretty much they tap into the ley lines and they create a rune based on that, while the enchanters use the energy they had from the previous item they had disenchanted, so pretty much they transfer the energy in a way, while the Rune Caster just taps into the ley lines. Now also, if you have inscription, like that does not mean that you're an inscriber and you're only considered a scribe with limited knowledge of creating glyphs of different sorts, but it takes much more dedication to uncover the secrets of rune magic because it's quite a complex matter. Now people that practice this magic can actually sense others that do it nearby, and also when the rune is working, it actually emits a light, usually silver or golden, and even if you're hiding it under certain clothes, you can actually see the light coming from it. On the types of runes, there are 3 types. You have the marks, the sigils, and the glyphs. Now a mark is placed on a creature which has to be willing or helpless, as if he is resisting to get the rune on him, it isn't going to work, but if he is helpless or like frozen in a way, it can actually be done, and a mark can be temporary or permanent. Now next one is a sigil, and sigil is also a rune, but it is actually placed on some surface and you can do multiple things with it. It can even be used as a trap, as for example, you step on the rune and it explodes in a big radius. I think some of the ogre magi used to do it during the initial wars. I believe it was in Warcraft 2. And a sigil usually lasts until it is triggered, erased, or it pretty much explodes. And the last one is the glyph, and essentially it is the same thing as the mark, except it is done on an object and it can also be temporary or permanent, and the effect starts immediately on completion. So pretty much what happens, you place a rune on a weapon and then you put like a spell into the rune, and then it pretty much starts emitting power and is much stronger. Now most of the people most likely have heard about these runes from the Death Knights, as they have their own runes, and from what we know, there really isn't anything super specific about the Death Knights. They are also considered rune casters in a way, although they're not like the masters of it, they only use like a certain aspect of it. Alright, that is all I have for this lore lesson. Now if you want to learn more about it, you can check out the RPG books, as most of the information about this is there. And even though this video isn't really that long, like this is a huge topic, but I just tried to simplify it and give you the basic information so you know what's sort of going on there. Now do give me some feedback on what you think, and also what you would like to see next, and whether you would like these videos to be longer or not. I mean, I really have no problem in making these videos longer. Like I can make like a 40-minute video on this, but my entire point is that I just want to give you as much information as possible in the least amount of time so you know what's kind of going on. Now if you like the video, don't forget to like and subscribe if you're not subscribed already, as it really helps out the channel and keeps all these videos going. And thanks a lot for taking the time out of the day to watch this video, and see you next time.